ambitious, really. I'd like to ask a few questions in regards to the green and your proposed plans for it. According to this report, the decision was made in February in regards to the private moorings and the change in the enforcement action for no return within 48 hours. Why were these decisions made behind closed doors, and why hasn't there been a public consultation on it? Why haven't one of the local residents?
Just stop you there about this behind closed doors. Everything this town council discussed is put on the notice boards. It is put online. It is open for anybody to attend these meetings. It's been reported in the EDP. There's been nothing decided. It's been notified for nearly 12 months that the moorings were coming back to the town council from the Broads Authority. Everything has been.
Sorry, I've got to stop you there. Where is an outline plan of everything that you've got? Where can someone actually go and see your proposed plans for what you want to do with the green? I can't see it found anywhere online. It's not in your newsletters.
The proposals for the River Green come here as a stage-by-stage programme. So it's lighting, the War Memorial Garden. They've all been there on agenda items, and they've also been discussed here at the Town Council. Everything which is done in a step-by-step approach has been here on the agenda for members to come and discuss. Similarly with the moorings on River Green as well, that has also been here. There has been no decisions on River Green been taken behind any closed doors.
So where were the decisions made? It wasn't in a public meeting?
All the decisions on the moorings have been here, minuted, and as clear agenda items for anybody to come and discuss.
All right, I've had a look on your website. I can't find anything that's minuted in regards to the decision making on that.
Well, I can assure you our minutes, we've now got professional, we've already had professional minute taking, we've even more professional minute taking, and they are all on the online. So I think that's
okay, I would question that as well, since the minutes from last month's meeting are certainly taken down wrong or misleading. But we'll raise that. No, it's not an interpretation, it's a fact. We'll address that a little later. But in regards to the decisions and the plans for River Green, why haven't all the local residents or local businesses been consulted on it?
No.
Yeah.
In terms of the plan for River Green, they've been put in our Broaden newsletter, or not Broaden newsletter, the Thorpe
They haven't. They've been excluded from the newsletter. The only thing in the newsletter is the advertisement for moorings. Nothing about actually showing what you want to do to the green.
We're not actually changing the green. The green isn't having additional work done to the moorings.
You're making changes to the green which affect local residents and affect local businesses.
And they would have an opportunity to be consulted.
They would need to be consulted by you before you make a decision, though. It's too late if you make a decision and then tell them what's happening.
No, I mean, everything has been, as Councillor Mackey said, it's been done in a public meeting. All we've done is shorten the amount of short stay moorings, introduce.
So, moving forwards, is there opportunity for us now to work together to consult and come together with a plan that would suit us as residents on Thorpe Island, but also for the community? Is that something that we can do moving forward?
I mean, the landowner's been in touch with us and he's put forward a proposal which is on the agenda this evening.
Yeah.
So we have now spoken to the landowner, which was one of the initial obstacles we had, because we did reach out to him to say, and I think it's actually in the papers this evening, which does say that we have put off a decision subject to basically speaking with him, and I think it even says we strongly urge you and your tenants to come to the next meeting where this will be discussed.
Yeah.
And nothing was forthcoming from that. We did put off a decision at one meeting for the landowner to have a say and for his tenants to come forward and have a say. It was just unfortunate that obviously wasn't communicated successfully across to you.
That's one side. That's the digging issue with the islanders, and I know it's going to be discussed in the next meeting. I'm talking about the private moorings and the new signs that you've put up, which are the most unwelcoming signs. I've seen boats, come to moor up, have a look at your signs, and turn around again because they think they're not allowed to moor there.
So they just say mooring not permitted.
I mean, that unfortunately is the management we have at the moment, which we're trying to move away from, which is the
Well, why not? Why did you change them before getting decent signs then? Not a member of Thorpe Island, by the way, Thorpe St Andrew resident as well.
like where you're resident from, that we have to enforce bylaws to basically ensure that we can manage River Green successfully. We can only enforce bylaws that we have, which are the ones that are on display. They were passed in the 1920s, which is what we want to move away from.
The issue isn't the bylaws, it's the signage. I believe the signage is probably unlawful. It's not illegal, but it's unlawful because it displays the wrong message. The right message is that people are allowed to moor there for 24 hours.
I mean, the bylaw itself says no mooring, except by permission of the council, except under stress of weather.
But no rules have changed, as you say. All the previous signage, for all the Broads Authority, it says free mooring for 24 hours, no return within 24. Your new signage is no mooring without explicit permission from the Town Council.
That's because the Broads Authority's bylaws are different to the Town Council's bylaws. They're two entirely
But
different.
you've said to me in person that the rules have not changed.
No, it does say on it, it says free mooring for 24
There's a
hours.
sticker in the corner which you have to be right in front of the sign to actually see. As I said, I've seen boats pull up, look at the signs and turn around again.
And as I said, it is by permission, and that's what the signs
Okay,
have
well
to say.
regardless, it's detrimental to the area. It means that people aren't visiting Thorpe because of the signage. It means that with the private moorings that you're proposing, which I have no idea why you've come to a decision on this. If it's a financial one, it doesn't make sense because it will only get you 10% of what you say you need annually for the upkeep of the bulkheading, of the quay heading, and you're giving away 50% of the fee for that. Now, if people see the signs like that and they're not going to moor up, they're not spending money in local businesses, they're not enjoying Thorpe. You've got you say that it's regardless of the pilot, it's all to do with the vessel. So you've got your day boat hires that aren't going to be visiting, the pub and paddle. I don't know if you've seen them, I know you have because you have your guys out twice a day checking. Dozens of pub and paddle every time, visiting all the local businesses, spending good money. Why do you want to push them all away?
All I can say is that's why we have got a new system coming in, which will take the no mooring except by permission signs down, because the mooring will be by permission subject to the terms that will be on the contract, like boards.
But how do you get permission?
Well, that's why those signs will be coming down when the new scheme comes in, which will then display what the new terms are. So at the moment, until we had legal clearance on what we can do, we can only enforce on the
But
bylaws.
if you turn up with your boat at 6 o'clock in the evening, and this is your last stop because you're a hire boat and have got no mooring light, no nav lights, who do you contact to get
Well,
permission?
That's why it
When?
says 24-hour free mooring, no return in 24 hours. That's why it has that on the sign.
It says
I don't
by
know, it doesn't
permission.
say that, it says no mooring. Who can
Check by
turn him
permission
away?
of the town council.
Yeah, it does say at the top 24-hour mooring.
The sign doesn't, there's a sticker on it, very, very small sticker in the corners, which you have to be very close to read. You cannot really read that if you're in a boat.
But if you come off and look, you will see it. And you
But
can
people are not going to come
They're
up
not
and
going to
look,
do that.
they're not going to moor up because they think they have no permission. The signage is atrocious and extremely unwelcoming and detrimental.
And why would you change the signage if you actually are going to review it?
Pardon?
Why have you changed that? Why have you put new signs on? That
Because-
you're actually going to review this and change it again? It seems a bit of a
Because
It's a waste of money.
unless we have, like, until we get clearance to start the new
Yeah,
scheme,
but why did you do?
we have to manage the key heading. We can't have a period where we aren't managing key heading, because then if we have no rules at all on it, and it gets filled with moorings that we then can't move off because we've got no signage or rules in place, we have to ensure that we're managing in the interim so that we
There
can
were
then
existing
start.
signs there.
Can I just ask as a point of order there then, implicit in that, does that mean the previous signs that said 24-hour mooring, no return within, are you indicating that they were effectively in violation of some rule?
No, they were
Well, why
Port
couldn't
Authority
they stay
bylaws.
until the
So they can still
review was
be
carried
used.
out?
The Ports Authority's advice was that they couldn't because
Right,
they are
okay.
Port Authority key heading. It's
Right.
now our key heading, which means it doesn't belong to them.
No, I
So
just
we
asked
can-
neutrally because it seems odd to make a change whilst you're still in the
Yes,
process
yes,
of review.
exactly.
But I mean, the
Yeah.
cost is no different really because the signs will just be laminated over with the new terms, so they're going to be the same piece of metal. It's
Are
just-
they going to be put up so you can actually read the whole of the back of the sign now?
Yeah, once the
Because you
changes
can't
have
at the
been made,
moment unless
then-
you stand and look down the back post.
No, I mean, once the changes have been made, the new signage will be up, which will only be one-sided, which is what those stands were originally designed for. But as we said, because we're planning on changing the rules for the mooring, it didn't make any sense to take out signage holders.
So why did you change the signs in the first place then?
Because they were Ports Authority bylaws.
Well,
and
you could have stuck a sticker
They
over
did,
them like you have done
we
this
did,
one.
but then the stickers fade, and we have to ensure that obviously.
And so will these
24-hour mooring
stickers?
stickers have faded a lot already. You can barely
But
see those.
exactly, and so that's why we had to put the new signage up, because the stickers.
No.
No,
The signs
now.
that you've got
The new
now.
signage.
Your new sign does not have anything about free mooring. You put extra stickers on the side. Those are what's fading.
Yes.
Your new sign saying you cannot moor here without permission. They're doing fine. Don't
That's
worry.
because if the signage, like if the stickers fade,
Yeah.
and they fade so it says nothing about bylaws, it just says 24-hour free mooring, we can't enforce on that because it has no details. So even if the signage like fades, it still has the
You're
signage.
missing the point.
by
The whole
caution.
point is that the sign is extremely unwelcoming and detrimental to the area, and there's no reason for it to be worded the way that it is when it's exactly the same rules, which are 24-hour free mooring.
That's the bylaws.
What will be the time? What will be the time frame of the review? Because I'm conscious with summer coming up, local businesses could potentially lose trade if we're not making any blame, but if these signs as they are subject to misinterpretation and they're seen as unwelcoming, i.e. don't stop unless it's emergency rather than you can stop, people could miss summer trade. What is the time frame of the review?
We can start the new scheme at any point now because we've cleared all the obstacles that we needed to.
Right.
It really is just subject to any change this evening.
Right,
Because
okay.
then realistically the only obstacle now.
In your annual report, it says the council agrees that in order to generate income to maintain the key heading of River Green, this is why you have the private moorings. Is to generate income to maintain the key heading, is that correct?
Fundamentally, yes.
Yeah, so how much money are you going to generate from the private moorings annually?
It very much depends on the amount of applications we have and the
Say it
footage of
was
boats.
completely full up, the area that you've allocated with boats, and you've got the 6 foot in between, which is required for insurance, which I'm sure you know. How much are you going to generate annually?
It very much depends on whether
Well, I can
residents,
tell you, it'll be about
non-residents.
£1,000 from the cost, from what you're charging. How much is it going to cost? That you told us last meeting it's going to be £10,000 a year you need to generate.
That's what we anticipate.
How did the council come to the decision to give up half of the key heading in order to generate only 10% of what they need to maintain that key heading? Where is the sense in that?
Because fundamentally we need to income generate from moorings.
Sorry?
We need to income generate from River Green and from the moorings.
But how do you make any? That's a negative income. You're not making any money. If you're gaining £1,000 a year for giving up half the key heading, and you need £10,000 a year to maintain it.
But do you think we should give the entire key heading to?
No, I don't think you should give any of the key heading. I think there's a lot of different ways that you can
Where do you
generate
think
money.
we'll be generating the income to maintain that particular site, which could cost us £300 or £1,000? Where is this money coming from?
Well, it's certainly not coming from renting half the key heading, is it? Because you're generating a tenth of that, and you're giving up half of the bloody key heading.
So where's the rest coming from? I don't understand.
Well, you tell me. Where is the rest coming
I'm telling you
from?
that half of it is going to this a long stay mooring as a way which is used across the Broads by many other parish and town councils as a way to give a steady revenue income, reliable, not the odd £1 here or there from someone popping in on a day. And also another third of the site, just divided into 3, that's going to be used by these motorboats. Another way to bring tourists to Thorpe to use these local businesses. They were
Motorboats.
What's happened to the ferry?
electric boats, which
Oh,
are-
electric boats, a day hire, yeah.
I thought you hadn't
No,
got
that's
planning
brilliant for the
permission
area.
for those.
That's brilliant for the area because that brings people to the area. So with the private moorings, people are visiting the area, are they? But also, you haven't taken into consideration how it affects the local residents, how it affects people that are using the green, the amount of money that we brought into the area from
Sorry,
the
can
day
we just
boats,
be really clear
visitors.
as residents of the local area what our rights are with regards to access? That's something that concerns me. Will we have access to and from our homes
Also, does the public stay?
without restriction?
Yeah, that's, the town council, when there was only one of your residents attended, when we discussed this at some length about your access, and we wrote, unlike all the other people who are using this, we made special dispensation to consult with Mr.
Sorry,
Wood.
some people don't read or write.
Yeah, but
so-
your landlord does.
Well, excuse me, sorry. I'm one of the people who lives on Island, and I didn't receive anything from you.
No residents did. No single resident.
And I got to eat the green and I got nothing about this. And I live opposite and I got nothing.
Yeah, well, exactly. So, Why did you not inform us when it was directly affecting us?
But the agenda of these meetings is on the notice board on River Green. We wrote a long, detailed letter
When you are
to
actually,
Mr. Wood.
when you are putting forward a plan that could adversely affect, I mean deeply adversely affect the lives of people, you do actually have a duty to inform them directly.
Yes, we appreciate
And
that.
I
That's what
do
we
believe, excuse me, sorry, I do believe that you refused to speak to us, and I would love to know what evidence you have to support that.
I think that's not
strategy.
true. I think actually
Oh,
we had
right,
an open,
okay.
we had an open
Right.
meeting here.
Well, we
Anyone
were just
can-
told that you would not speak to anybody other than Roger Wood.
That's what was said.
This meeting
Is
is
that
open.
true?
Anyone could come here and actually
No, was
two-
it true that
No,
you would
absolutely
only
not.
speak with Roger
No.
Wood?
No,
It's not
that's-
true.
that
What
was
was said was
It's
that
not true.
any negotiations would
Okay.
have to be with Roger as landowner. So if we want to
and
negotiate
can
with
you just
Roger,
tell me where I don't understand that. Where does that come from? What, is there a law or is there, what evidence do you
because,
have?
because he's the landowner, he is the...
Yeah, but you've got tenants there who are directly
No, we
affected,
don't
you
have
have a duty
tenants.
to them. I'm sorry, but I would love to see your evidence to support that strategy you've used.
What, do we contact the landowner?
Yes, that you only contact the landowner
I
and
vote.
not the
I am
tenants.
worthy of
And-
being,
Yeah, I'm sorry, a lot of us are
I've
voters,
been
really. We're all on the
registered to
electoral
vote
roll.
for 30 years here.
But Roger is the landowner.
No, but I think we
How
are
does that make a
tenants.
difference?
We are tenants who have a
residents.
right
And
as individuals to live here. And I think you possibly were negligent in not informing us directly to something that would have a deeply adverse effect on our livelihoods.
That was why we wrote to Roger, because
No,
we
no,
wanted
no, but
the-
let's just forget that bit, because you wrote to Roger, you did not write to the tenants.
But Roger doesn't give us details of who is where.
Oh,
We don't,
okay, right, so you didn't know how
we
to
don't
contact us.
routinely, like,
Okay.
we've always spoken
Alright.
with Roger regarding any changes to the
Okay.
There's a
agreement.
post box on the green.
this is
It's
no
not
different.
difficult.
Can you not put something through the doors?
And
That's,
Well, no.
Well, you could leaflet, so you do.
There is a post box on the green which you must be aware
Roger is
of.
there every week.
I get letters through to my house saying to the resident. Why couldn't you put several in that post box
To
so
the
that the
resident.
residents of the island saw it personally?
I do believe you have a duty of care to
To
inform,
residents.
you know, tenants who are going to be deeply affected by this. I mean, your proposal would possibly mean that I have to choose to give up my home or to give up my work. And that is quite startling, that I was not informed of any of these plans at all, and I heard it through hearsay.
But you must remember that we were quite cognizant of this issue. That is why we spent time considering yourselves and wrote a special
But
letter.
not communicating with us.
We-
And that is the point.
We wrote your land.
The point is we don't, I believe you may
It's
well
box
have
and down to
considered it,
residents,
but
never
you
mind
do
the
have to
landlord.
have
You're
a
not
discourse
travelling
with
backwards
us.
and
Sorry, do
forwards,
you
are
not write to the people that rent flats off landlords?
If someone lives in a flat in Thorpe St Andrews, is the town council saying if there's more than one flat in that group, that they're not going to notify any of the residents and they'll only notify the people who actually own the leasehold of the flats?
There is a difference.
This is
No,
basically-
Why?
No,
No,
it's not.
But there-
Why?
there
The
is
residents
Why?
can't see a
Different
difference.
at all.
I would like to know again your evidence for saying that, because you really, I mean, I feel that things are being said without, really, I mean, where is this coming from? Is there a law? Would like to see that. I'd be really interested in, perhaps you're right, but I would really like to see that evidence.
we don't have any,
And as a duty of care, what would you say about a town council who has a duty of care?
well, first of all, that's why Roger's come forward and Roger's put a proposal forward,
And
which the town
I'm
council's
deeply
going
grateful
to
that he did
consider.
that, but I do feel aggrieved that I had no idea that this was happening, and I live there.
I mean, you do have to be a Miss Marple
No,
to
can I
find out
ask
what
a
you're
couple
doing
of
at
questions,
the
please?
Exactly.
I've been coming to
We
this
asked
town
you the
council
questions today.
for the last 6 years. We've done work on the
Please
River
don't,
Green when
please
we
don't say
updated
where
it all
were
and
you before.
everything.
Please
We
don't say
did
where
all
were you
that.
before. We've heard this.
Now,
that's
we
not an
never
argument.
saw
That's not
anybody
an
before.
argument. We asked you the question.
We never
I'm
saw
afraid.
anybody before. Now, we did all that work on the River Green. we spent a lot of the money to do that, to make it the new paths and everything like that. We never saw anybody then when we were doing all that. We had the same sort of level of consultation. We had public meetings.
Just what you said, we didn't see anyone there.
No, we've been, the Broads Authority have been in argument with Roger Woods for about 10 years.
What's that got to do with anything?
It's nothing to do with it.
Relevant.
You're being
It's
quite
all relevant.
No,
Everything is in the public domain. Everything is open to
being
everybody.
quite aggressive, I feel.
Nobody was interested.
Who's nobody was interested?
I'd like this
I don't
limited, and he says it's relevant to what's happening down in the basin.
I don't understand.
Talking about
There's
This
all
is
public meetings.
prejudice.
Are you actually saying that you deserve this treatment because you appear not to have taken interest? Is this what you're actually saying?
No.
All right, so that's what's
We're
going
being
on.
told
Can
that
you
we're
explain
trying
it a
to.
little bit
We're
better?
being told that we're keeping everything from the public, and that is completely
That's
untrue.
because the public are here and we haven't been consulted. We don't know about
did a
it.
very good job of it.
Your website is not exactly the easiest to find things on.
And then
At
you have
all.
letters like this that residents didn't receive about this meeting. And a
It's
business
pinned on the
didn't
notice
receive.
board on River Green.
How's the neighbourhood plan going?
I didn't go over to the group.
Sorry, can I just ask, just thinking about a few acts and policies that I know about. The Accessible Information Standards 2015, we need to make sure that information is accessible for people who receive it, that, you know, so that they're actually fully aware of what is happening. That didn't happen. You know, that act wasn't met. Also, with the Health and Social Care Act 2012, might want to review that and how that actually impacts on people's
We did
lives.
do an equality
So
impact
just-
assessment on it, which was informed by other councils who have done exactly the same thing. And in
In
short,
the same circumstances, there are other councils who have this unique circumstance.
there are councils
It was-
who also have people who, yes, live on boats, who need access to moorings. Like, it is slightly different in the way
Oh,
that
sorry.
a lot of them, unfortunately, do have people who live on boats, have residential moorings, which have planning permission, which permits use.
Translatable to this
and that-
situation.
Well, the planning permission ensures that there is sufficient access. Now, since there is no planning permission for residential mooring on the island,
There's
it
also
is
bungalow. There's a
Yes.
bungalow planning permission.
the bungalow.
Well, this was minuted wrong, and if you look at the minutes, and actually we're at the meeting last month, it was confirmed by John Fisher there was planning permission that exists for the residential mooring. And we even spoke about the parking spaces that he said he thought there was stipulation that it required parking.
No, I think what
That was omitted from the minutes that he typed up, by the way.
certainly, like, the meeting minutes reflect the fact that I said I'm not a planning officer, and therefore I'm unaware that there may be some rights that are attributable due to the time that has elapsed. And Councillor Fisher said no planning permission had come forward, and that because of the terms that the island find themselves in, it would be unlikely that planning permission would be given. And then he spoke
No,
about...
that's what you've written up in the minutes, but that's not what happened last month. That's not what was said. He said that he believes that planning permission, because time overlapped, there was not time to object, and so planning permission did exist, with the stipulation of the parking. You mentioned that the parking was taken away, but that was taken away from you by yourselves as well, not by the landowner. So I think those minutes, I would like it noted in these minutes, that I believe the minutes from the last meeting are incorrect and omit that whole statement, or that whole conversation.
I'll take it at the minutes.
I still don't get why you wanted to change it anyway. What was wrong with it?
Yeah, if you're not.
The River Green is lovely how it was.
I loved it.
So why change it?
My
Spend all that money.
My parents used to bring me here when I was a child to look at and wave at the people over there on the boats and feed the ducks and everything. And if you're going to be renting out all of this stuff and sectioning it off, if you've got private moorings or public moorings and that people are going to have to walk up to where you allow them to feed the ducks, are you going to have it signposted off? Do not feed the ducks here. You can only feed the ducks here.
We're only talking about an area from down towards the horse water end up to just off the Warman.
I know, I've looked at the map, but
It's not opposite my house. No one's asked me for one.
That's half the key here.
I just can't understand why you're wanting to change all of this after so many years. It was a real treat for me as a child to be brought down here to feed the ducks and look and wave at everybody and everything. And now you're trying to change it out of all proportion. Why do you feel the necessary? You are. That's and
Dug up trees.
you've dug up a load of trees.
You've taken a whole area. You're bringing a little house there, and Making a kiosk,
That's
apparently.
an original feature of the Broads. I'm sorry if it doesn't fit, but you know that's an original.
Yeah, but why change it when it was already there?
It's rotting away in a depot at the moment. Rather lose this historical thing.
But the trees weren't rotting, were they?
They were there just random trees. They had no connection to that area whatsoever.
Well, they must have done. They've been there hundreds of years.
The main trees are the large ones which have been there for quite some time. They're the ones that we monitor and manage on a regular basis.
Really? You manage the trees? How can we get no sunlight anymore because you've let the trees grow so high?
I think they're about 250 years old. You know, they were up that height before we...
That end, yeah. What about the other end? Do you manage those as well?
The ones we dug up.
I'd like to raise another issue of safety.
Safety.
As this lady just spoke, and I absolutely concur with you, it's such a delight to watch families